Hey, sports fans, PB&Z, Sports Chaos, we're back at you. Look, I'm overlooking the ninth green here at TPC Norton. No, just kidding. Hey, anyway, speaking of TPC Norton, they're playing down there, Northern Trust, right? The first round of the FedEx playoffs, correct, PB?
Yep, first round.
And by the way, today's Indy 500 Sunday. No, it's not Memorial Day. No, you look at the calendar going, what? Another pandemic epic, right? So we got a little Indy 500 going on today. And we'll talk a little NHL playoffs, a little NBA playoffs. We'll give you a little news on MLB. And get ready, next week, we're going to do our fantasy picks for NFL. So more to come on that. Let me go through a little quick update here, a little 2-minute drill. As I already mentioned, you got the Indy 500 going on. TPC, as I already mentioned, and Norton going on, my hometown, where the high school pitching there was better than the Red Sox right now, for sure. DJ Dustin Johnson is running away with this thing. He's minus 22. He shot a 60 on Friday, and that was not the best of the day, PB. A guy shot a 59. Scotty Schellinger, I believe is how you say his name. Schleffel, I'm sorry. Shot a 59, and he's only in third right now after shooting a 59 going into the last day, Sunday. By the way, I just saw this on ESPN momentarily. Tigers -5 on the day so far, so he's way out of it. He won't contend at all. I think he's -6 in the tournament, but good for him. Hey, NFL, do you hear this one, PB? Rumor is they may go to a bubble format for the playoffs. That would mean potentially no home field advantage, right? If they went to a bubble? Depending on where it's at.
That changes a lot. That changes a lot in football when it's all about one and done, you know?
Too bad, KC. You may not have the home field after all. We'll see. Hey, speaking of football, CFL, done. No 2020 for the Canadian Football League. They said, no way, we're not playing it. So hopefully the NFL goes all according to plan. So far, they really have a good coronavirus testing going on. We'll see. Speaking of NFL, the Washington football team, they named Jason Wright the first African-American president in the NFL. Good for them. But bad news, Ron Rivera, prostate cancer, is that what it is I heard he has? And he plans to coach. I don't know how he's going to do it, PB.
Depends what kind of plan on to recover and get, you know.
We'll see. He has a good assistant coach that has NFL experience. Jack Del Rio is on his staff. He will take over if Rivera can't coach. So we'll see what happens. And lotteries, sports lotteries. No, not the ones you win money in for the #1 draft picks. NHL, the Rangers, they got to go to the bubble. They lost in the first round, and voila, they got the #1 draft pick. Unbelievable, right? Good for them. Hopefully they make something out of this thing. And the Timberwolves, they're going to get #1 in the NBA. The rumors they're going to take that Ball kid. Good for them because he stinks. I don't care what anybody says. Go ahead, Timberwolves, take him. All right, let's get on. Hey, I got a little DYK for you. MLB this week, Clayton Kershaw. He became the second all-time leading strikeout leader in the Dodgers' history. Despite all their great pitches, Koufax, Drysdale, Oral Hershiser, Fernando Valenzuela, do you know who was #1?
I couldn't even think to guess.
Don Sutton.
Wow.
I was surprised by that. All right, let's get into this NHL thing. PB, tell us, give us a recap of the first round playoffs.
Well, start off obviously with our homers, right? The Bruins. I was surprised that they were able to win this in 5 games. Halleck went 3-0, up, Tuukka's 1-1 start in that series before he bailed on him. So I had the Bruins in 7. They ended up winning in 5. Good for the Bruins. They look good. They're playing well. I think Carolina had some potential there. I thought they were going to give the Bruins some more fits. They didn't beat a bad hockey team. They beat a good hockey team. So I like what I saw. The Montreal Canadiens and the Philadelphia Flyers, we thought Philly had already kind of, made their move, their win in the series to get there, beating the whoever
Canadians.
Montreal beat the Penguins to get there. So I think in Montreal, though, was hot, coming in as the lowest seed. I thought they would give Philadelphia a little bit more of a challenge. It did go 6, but Philly ended up coming out on top there. Islanders, that's probably the biggest upset in the playoffs. Not only did they beat the Capitals, who were the 3 seed, but they beat them in 5 games. So I thought that was a pretty big surprise. That you, however, did have the Islanders winning that series. So good for you.
And I get them in the next one too.
Then we had, we'll see. Tampa and Columbus. That was the other series in the East. And I had Tampa in that series. I thought it would go deeper. I thought it would go 7. You thought Columbus was going to upset Tampa.
I did.
So we were opposite on that one. But still, a nice 5 games. Tampa Bay took care of them. So now we have Tampa up against Boston. Great series. And then we have Montreal and the Islanders. And I think Philadelphia and the Islanders. And what I think is interesting about that series is that means one of those 2 teams is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, which I don't think a lot of people had predicted.
No.
For Islanders to be sitting in the conference final.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a look out west, and then we'll make our predictions, I guess, for the next round.
Yes.
So we had Vegas and Chicago, and we had Colorado and Arizona. Those were 2 series I thought would be 4-game sweeps. They did manhandle the other teams. The other team won a token game, which happens in hockey, so not a big deal. But both of those teams won in 5. Not too far off our prediction. Hit Vancouver in 6, right on the head. St. Louis is the defending Stanley Cup champion.
See ya.
I expect big things out of them. I already had them finishing low in the round robin, which they did do.
Right.
Drew Vancouver. Vancouver took care of them in 6 games, so I had that one on the nose. And then a little bit of what I consider being an upset with Dallas beating Calgary. You had Dallas. I did have Calgary in that. It did go 6, but Dallas came out on top.
They did. They look good. And they won their first game last night, too.
And they did go ahead and win. So even though we're predicting the next series, that's the only game that's been played thus far. So you got Vancouver will play up against Vegas. You'll have Colorado up against Dallas, Boston and Tampa, and Philly and the Islanders. So let's talk a little bit about those series and who we think is going to win.
Well, first, let's start with the Bruins, right? I want to pick them. I love them. I don't know if Halleck can pull it off. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. Hey, little DYK, did you know Krejci, David Krejci, we're going to have to stop calling him playoff Krejci. He's playing phenomenally. He moved to number 2 all time in the Bruins playoff history behind only, guess who?
In what, goals scored or?
Points in the playoffs.
Points? Bergeron?
Bergeron's 3, Ray Bork. Ray Bork way ahead of him, by the way. I think he's got like 160 versus 110 for Krejci.
Okay.
So I got Bruins. I losing. I hate to say it. I mean, I want them to win. I hope they win, but I just think Tampa Bay hangs on and beats them because of goaltending.
You think it'll go 7?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have it going 7-2, and then I have the Bruins winning in that 7th game, though.
Oh, I hope so. I hope I'm wrong.
I think Halak has shown that he can, play net. He played consecutive games. That's what I was looking for to see if he could do that. Comes out 3-0 out of those playoffs. I just think he will continue that. I like what I saw. If I was a betting man and I had to lay money on this series, would I bet it? Probably not. I'm not that confident. The little bit of me is why I'm picking the Bruins. But it's not like I'm picking them just because I'm a homer, right? I really think they have what it takes. They were the best team in the NHL with Rask and with Halleck playing, 40% of the game. So
that's correct, right.
I'm like, this guy's never played net for the Bruins and doesn't know what's going on out there. So I got him. I got the Bruins in 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, what do you? And then that's and you pick
Philly. What's that?
Picking Philly? Who are you picking? Philly or the Islanders?
Philly, guys. No, I'm going to take the Islanders. I'm sticking with my theory that Philly already, they already had their moment. I think the Islanders are a little bit of a surprise team here, despite the fact that they were one of the teams. I think they had a 7-game losing streak when the pandemic hit. So they obviously were not a team they were struggling at that time. But given the way things panned out and the way everything worked, they came back. They're playing strong. They're playing good hockey. They just beat a great team in the Capitals. They beat a decent Florida Panthers team in the first series there. So I think they're playing good hockey, and Philly's not that as good as people think. And I think they got lucky drawing Montreal. They did. They got lucky drawing Montreal. So I'm going to take the Islanders in that series in 6.
I'm with you on that. And by the way, the Islanders do have the coaching pedigree. They got, what's his name? Trost, the guy that was the Capitals coach when they won the Cup 2 years ago, right?
So that's maybe another check mark for the Islanders.
But I have to believe, PB, that the Lightning Bruins playoff is for the East Conference. Don't you agree?
Yeah. I would say the winner of that series goes on to win.
They go to the Cup.
Get to the Cup. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you got in the West?
In the West, we got Dallas and Colorado, and that game one was already played yesterday. And Dallas surprisingly picked up a W there. They scored 5 goals, won 5-3, and they're not that high scoring of a team. However, I don't think Dallas can sustain that against the Avalanche. The Avalanche were just kicking butt in the play. I mean, they were destroying Arizona.
Right.
They played very well in their round robin games as well. I got the Avalanche coming back and winning the series, and I have them doing it in 6 games actually. So that would only give Dallas one other win in the series.
Okay. And then Vegas against Vancouver.
Yeah. So I like Vegas. I have Vegas and Avalanche. I predicted them as the 2 best teams in the West and playing in the West Conference Finals since before the season even started. So sticking with that and going to take Vegas in this, and I'll give them 6 games.
Okay. I'm with you. I think it's Vegas and the Avalanche, and that will be a good conference finals. That will be worth it.
Awesome. That'll be a great series. That'll probably be the best series of the playoffs this year, I think.
I think you're right. You know, and the funny thing, though, is they might knock each other out and not be ready for the Stanley Cup. So the East could sneak in there and win it, right?
If the Bruins are in it, I'll take it.
We'll see, Bees. Maybe we get this one this year. All right, let's move on. NBA quickly here. Let's talk. Celtics are doing a little better than I thought. You had the Sixers losing in 5. I had the Sixers losing in 6. It might be a sweep after today. Celtics look very impressive. Philadelphia looks horrible. By the way, Embiid, he has to be the most spoiled, whiniest player in Philly since Terrell Owens. A mega talent and just a whiner. So, good luck, Joe Embiid. Hey, by the way, that whole Eastern Conference is going according to plan, right? Milwaukee, they had a hiccup in Game 1, but they're running away with that playoffs against Orlando. You've got the Heat, the 4th seed, who are absolutely crushing Indy. That should be a sweep as well, right? And Toronto's up 2-0 themselves. 3-0, I'm sorry. So,
3-0.
So those 4 top
too.
seeds. Those 4 top seeds are going to have a mega semifinals battle, I believe. Milwaukee is going to have a struggle with Miami. You said it before. I agree with you there. And the Celtics and Toronto, man, that thing's going to be epic. I think the Celtics can win, but Toronto, both those series will go 7 games.
Both those series have 2. And we predicted all 4 of those. I mean, not too high to predict they were the top 4 seeds, but that would pit Milwaukee against Miami and Boston against Toronto. As you said, that should pan out and be what happens here in the second round. 2 great series. We'll make our predictions, on our next show, but those will be epic. Both those will be epic series. And I think if any team has a chance of knocking off the Bucks, it's probably the Heat. They match up pretty well against them.
I would agree. They certainly shoot the ball well from outside. They got some decent inside play with Bam Adebayo. So, and they got Kelly Olynyk there, former Celtic. So we'll see. Out west, the Lakers lost their first game, but they came back. They're up 2-1 against the Trailblazers. Dame Time's a little banged up. He dislocated his pinky on his non-shooting hand, but he still had a good game last night, despite the fact that LA won that game. They still look strong. The Clippers are doing their job against Dallas, and now Luka Doncic, bad ankle sprain. They say he's going to try to play today. I can't see it happening. That ankle is ugly after that game. So we'll see. And the one that we picked, a little surprise, Utah, right? They're beating the Nuggets. They're up on the number 3 seed. Love to see that. So, and then the number 4 and 5 turned out to be a pretty good battle. Houston is up 2-1. They lost to OKC last night. That thing is, I think we said 7. And I think it's going to go 7. That's going to be a war, it looks like right now. Do you agree?
Yeah. We had, so all those series are 2-1 right now, I believe. But all 4 teams that have the 2 wins are the 4 teams we predicted. And we didn't just pick the top 4 seeds out there. We did take Utah over Denver. We did take Houston over OKC. So we picked the 5 and 6 to beat the 3s and 4s out there. But I can see both those series actually hitting the 7th game. With
for sure. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
You know, the good thing about that, everybody says the West is going to run away with the championship. I think they're going to beat each other up. And then when they go to play the Eastern Conference winner, that Western team is going to be beat up because they have to go through minefields to get there. So we'll see. Don't declare the West the best yet, folks.
I would agree with you there. I would agree with you for sure. So
speaking of West, we got to talk about MLB because out West, the Padres, now known as Slam Diego, 5 grannies in the last 6 games. This is unbelievable. They got 6 for the month of August. What's happening? We didn't have the Padres on the radar, remember? I don't even think we picked them to make the playoffs, did we?
You did.
All right.
Yeah.
They are playing absolutely fantastic ball.
Yeah.
They're doing well. And by the way, if Dodgers are in first place. They do have 20 wins, as we predicted, but San Diego will be right there for second for sure in that division. Speaking of other epic home run streaks, the White Sox hit 27 home runs this past week. 27 home runs in 7 days. PB, what is happening in baseball, man? It's either a strikeout or a home run, right?
Right.
And we have to mention our Red Sox. They lost 9 in a row. They did break the streak. They beat Philadelphia, Philly, and they won 2 games against the O's for a little 3-game winning streak, but they lost last night. It's over. I don't see them getting to 20 wins at all. I'm not even sure they're going to get to 15 at this point in time. The other thing is their bullpen sucks, and 2 of their better relievers they just traded over the weekend. They traded Brandon Workman and Heath Embry. So the bullpen's already horrendous. They traded 2 guys who were somewhat reliable compared to the rest of that staff. By the way, Tampa Bay, we got to talk about this, man. They just swept the Yankees, right, at New York, which was undefeated at home prior to that. Now, granted, they won 8 games against the Red Sox at home. So,
right. Yeah.
But, I mean, they look incredible, right? Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Tampa Bay looks good. I wouldn't be surprised if they get into the playoffs and make a run. As a matter of fact, if you look at Tampa Bay as a city right now, they have a legitimate 3 championship sports teams. If right, you look at the Bucks with Brady and Gronk and everything they're doing down in Tampa Bay right now. You look at the Rays, who just swept the Yankees and are certainly going to make the playoffs. And if their pitching holds up the way it's supposed to, they could make a run. And then you have the Lightning, who we just talked about, who you think are going to beat the Bruins and end up and would make the cup in that case, because you said
they make the cup, correct?
Cup. So then you got 3 legit teams. I know my fans in Denver are going to make the argument. Well, what about the Avalanche and what about the Rockies, who is off to a pretty good start in baseball, and what about the Nuggets, who are right there in the thick of things in the NBA playoffs? But I don't see the Nuggets getting out of the West at all. And I don't know.
They're going to lose to Utah. We already said they're going to lose to Utah. So.
And I don't see the Rockies getting out of winning anything in the NL to get to a World Series. So I'll give the Avalanche a legitimate shot, but beyond that,
I'm with you on that. All right, hey, we're going to talk a little NFL fantasy next week, right, PB? Mm-hmm. And fans, pretty soon we'll be having it up for sale. We got some merchandise. We got the PB&Z Sports Chaos mug. And now we have a beer mug as well. I don't think you can read that, but that's what it says. We might start marketing this stuff pretty soon. All right, PB, next week, fantasy football. And we'll do a little NBA predictions on the next round, right?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right, man. PB&Z Sports Chaos. Have a great weekend, fans.